Good evening and welcome back to the public portion of the meeting for April 5th. We had some clarification issues that we had to take care of. I think we now understand more about what was put on the floor. But to make it clear for the people at home and for anyone who's here tonight, Councillor Wegener is going to reread the last part of his motion. We're not going to force anyone to listen to the entire thing. Jonathan, if you could advise Councillor Wegener on what would be the best portion of the motion to read tonight, to reread. Councillor Wegener, and make sure, yep.
All right. I move that council direct administration to obtain a minimum of 2, preferably 3 updated proposals on the 4.7 acres of an undeveloped property east of Kinsman Lake that was donated to the Wheatland Housing Management Body, conditional upon the construction of a new Wheatland Lodge seniors facility with funding coming from the Financial Stabilization Reserve. And that council commit on the development of a new 120-unit Wheatland Lodge contingent on the capital requisition not exceeding $566,625, excepting for any increase resulting from the lower average value of the land appraisal than the current estimated $1.4 million. All parties agreeing on the valuation of the land being donated by the town, the operating requisition not increasing more than the Calgary CPI index year over year, Wheatland Housing Management Body lobbying the province for support and resources for the proposed development, Wheatland Housing Management Body receiving the Province Partnership Program grant in the amount of $7,140,000, and the proposed development receiving full regional support in the amounts provided for the one-time capital requisition, and that council authorize the mayor to sign the attached letters to Canada Housing and Mortgage Corporation and the Government of Alberta regarding the development of the 120-unit Wheatland Lodge.
Thank you. And now that we have a motion on the floor, any further discussion? Councillor Montgomery.
Thank you. And yeah, thank you for bearing with me while we go through this process. So as I've mentioned earlier in this meeting, I submitted a number of questions to the Wheatland Housing Management Board through the spokesperson. I obviously haven't received the answer to those questions, which gives me pause, I'll say. I like to make these types of decisions, with as much information as possible, and there are some outstanding things, I guess I would say, that I don't have at this point. I believe I will be getting the answer to those questions in the near future, and so I will be able to kind of, speak to those questions, if anybody, for those people that submitted questions to me. And I am... I find it hard, I guess, to commit to major capital projects without, as I mentioned, kind of having all that information. I am assuaged, I'll say, by the fact that there are a number of contingencies in this motion that make it so that I guess I'm just concerned about the risk. I'm concerned about the risk that we could get into, and I believe that this motion does a good job of limiting the amount of risk we're exposed to, and I'm comfortable with the explanation about the off-ramps that we have. If it looks like there are any possible issues with this project, yeah, and when I say issues, I'm not not speaking about, you know, I have full confidence in the capabilities and, yeah, the capabilities and how the board has kind of gone into this. My concerns are more about, you know, the parts that are out of our control. You know, whether it's like kind of timelines or construction costs or even just, you know, like the future of support, you know, from provincial or other levels of government. But given that there is a need to get this kind of done sooner rather than later, I'm willing to put my support behind, well, I'll say this. I fully support the hospice. You know, I think the hospice group has been doing amazing work. And you know, no matter what happens, I fully stand behind the idea of a hospice. I think that that's a very needed thing in our community, and I think it would be very valuable in our community. When it comes to seniors housing, I do not want to see a single senior who is house or home insecure. I want every senior to have adequate and good quality housing as well. My concerns always just kind of lie with the how. And for those reasons, I will support this motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Montgomery. Councillor Peterson.
So, Your Worship, I want to thank Councillor Montgomery for those comments, and I understand completely that these are that this is a really, really important topic to him as it is to everybody sitting behind this table. And after, you know, listening to his comments, I understand that it's really important to him, and I respect that. And Councillor Montgomery submitted, as he said, a lot of questions, 18 questions with many, many parts, and many of those questions are extremely pertinent to the build, and some are more pertinent to operations, but all questions that we have been asked throughout the, how many, 5? We've done 5? That we've done 5 presentations in the communities of Strathmore, Cheadle, Rockyford, Standard, and Carsland, and there's one going on in Gleason this evening. And so the questions that Councillor Montgomery have posed are akin to all of those questions, and I make a commitment to him that all of his questions will be answered to the greatest extent that we can possibly do. And in addition to that, I want to say that we have, you know, relative to the due diligence. In 2019, we undertook a needs assessment, which was a second one actually, because we've been involved in this exercise now for 8 years. And so we did a needs assessment in 2019. The evidence was there. We evidence from the from Alberta Health Services, from the Canadian National Housing Program, and multiple other entities that we are prepared when we answer Councillor Montgomery's questions, they will be there. These references will also be posted, we hope by April the 12th, on the websites of both the Wheatland and Area Hospice Society and the Wheatland Housing Management Body, so that a lot of the things that you've noted here, Councillor Montgomery, will be on that website as well. So you'll see them in writing, and you'll see them in the fullness, and you'll see access to the references that were used to gather that information. Just as Derek Weiss gave when he was in this building. But one of the things that we know is that over the next years, we are facing a huge trajectory of need in terms of affordable senior living. We have had a groundswell of support in the 5 meetings that Councillor Wagner and I have attended. We have hundreds of people who have given their names, not to a legal petition, just signing saying, you know, we support you. And it's not a petition of any kind, it's just a statement of support. in every meeting that we've been in, there has been about, I would say, 98 to 99% support when we've asked people directly about the support. So there is a huge deal of desire. And this is after people have sat in our town and in our county and our small towns, and they've heard about the costs, they've heard about the processes that will happen, and they have still thrown their support fully behind this. So I'm grateful to all of you. I'm grateful to the work of this administration in bringing forth this really fulsome motion. And I'm very much in support of this, Your Worship. It will at least give us a chance to provide housing to our seniors.
Thank you. Any other comments from councillors? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? And the motion is carried. Thank you, everyone, for your work on this. And I believe we have no correspondence tonight. So we're looking for a motion to go in camera to deal with a few items related to FOIP sections. And I'll look for that motion from you with bated breath. Councillor Langmaid.
Thank you very much, Your Worship. I'd like to move that council move in camera to discuss items related to sections 19 subsection 2 and section 24(1)A of the Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act at 7:12 p.m.
Thank you. All in favor? And the motion is carried. We are going in camera. Thank you to the people who are watching at home.
Does your mom watch?